Good afternoon. It's Joyful Christian Hermit. We're heading home from the greenhouse. I took back some things and, of course, left with more. But, I think I missed a turn down there. Yes, I did indeed. It'll work out. Just go home a different way. But I got a little tiny conifer that's slow growing, and it'll be great for the meditation garden. But I got a beautiful rose, Silas Marner, that will have wonderful scent for in front of the front living room window, with a slider on it down low that slides to get some air in, and it will be the scented rose air that will come in. So that'll be nice. And succulents that will be lovely for the front of the sidewalk. My grandson came over and was helping. He's earning money. I'm paying him, but it's good. And then Sean is better, but not well enough. And he doesn't take antibiotics, so he could still be contagious. And it was good. God worked that out so it wouldn't be awkward that my grandson was coming, and Sean understood that it was important to develop that relationship given what had been going on with family lately. So I want to talk. I've learned more about transitions, and it is when we get to this phase of others. So I went through all of the self part, the self-analysis, and what I need to do to change. Expect respect from others and respect God for how He created me. But this next transition part has to do with others, and of respecting others, such as my daughter, and asking her, would you like to hear about transitions? And she'd likely say no, and then I stop talking. But for anything like that, I have to discern people, so and be respectful of them. And also, though, expect them to be respectful of me. So I had written all this out to my grandson and my daughter, the one is speaking to me. And I didn't think he was going to come back ever, because he canceled yesterday, said he had a headache, but he was still able to go do stuff. So I thought, well, I did it. I insulted him. I was, it wasn't good that I expressed myself and let him know that I expected to be respected and not monitored, not controlled. That I know I'm different, but it isn't the end of the world. As my cousin told me yesterday, you're unique. You're unique. We have a joke about that, my cousin and I do, from many years ago. A man was making fun of my gardens in the Midwest, and I wanted to have a gazebo there. And I had it all planned out, and he saw my gardens, but he wasn't going to put the gazebo where I wanted it. I wanted it down by the pond. I did not want it up right off my patio. Well, that's where he has his at his house. He likes that. Why have a pond, a subdivision pond, and a gazebo, and then have the gazebo right up in front of your windows where you don't see the view anymore, and not down by the pond where you can enjoy it? So I canceled. And he was making fun of my gardens. I said, Ma, this is certainly quite a different garden. This is really something, and something else, and going on. And I said, well, he said it's certainly unique, but he wasn't approving of it at all. It was too strange for him. It was very Midwest and narrow-minded person. And I said, well, I'm a unique woman. Yeah, that just took him back, and he stopped going on. So my cousin, we've laughed about that ever since, all the rest of the years. Well, you're a unique woman. So unique women can get away with doing unique things. So I have a unique garden again. And the front, we've dug up a strip along the front. I still have to beat dirt out of some of the sod clods. And we'll use pavers that I have and stones and put succulents in and anything else that takes full sun. Some of these little tiny conifers that will stay little teeny. And I won't have to deal with the grass growing over the sidewalk or going dead on me by July because it doesn't get enough water out there. The previous owners had put the sprinkling system in about 3 feet in from the sidewalk because they planted shrub that didn't need much water, and they were red, green, all across, all up the drive and up to the front door. This is a red and green house. Red and green inside, well, hot pink and hot, very strong teal color. Greenish, more greenish than teal. But would be great at Christmas, but no more pink and green anymore. So it's interesting, different people's tastes and what they do. And they'd been in Africa the last 25 years of his medical career. He was a medical missionary at the end. And I think that they were more in the 40s or 50s. They were, when they left, that was 6 years ago, they were 30 years older than me when they left the house. So they were back in the 40s era with their mindset of what they wanted, which is okay. People can do what they want. And so getting there with the yard, and had a wonderful conversation with my grandson. I was in so much pain, and I talked, and I explained to him that my pain was very, very bad today, which it is. And every now and then I would stop and I would say, uh-oh, I'm over talking. And he says, that's all right. That's all right, Gaga. He calls me Gaga. Do what you need to do to handle the pain. My little talk worked. And he, like today, he decided after yesterday that he was going to accept. Because I'd also mentioned in my email yesterday, or text, that I was explaining that I had to transition and I had to change my ways. And that I also then realized this is the next phase, is to help other people understand that we are changing and invite them to accept us in our change. Because when we change, it can be a shock to others. They're used to, like with me, my daughter, and even my grandson were monitoring me, either to protect me from people who thought I was a weirdo or would call me crazy, or for themselves, thinking, we don't want to be embarrassed by Gaga. She might do something strange, or she might say something off-putting, or be very friendly with someone. Because I liked people. And I can be very, very friendly, very open. And I was struggling. Of course, I was walking on a bench and limping. I was so in pain at the nursery. And I had my arms loaded with Coleus and some herbs and some succulents and little tiny pint containers that the nursery has, the different little plantings. And I had my arms were full of them, and some lovely young woman, maybe 25 years old, came over. Oh, can I help you? Can I help you? I was bent over, and my hump in my back probably even looked worse. And I was so grateful about that time, because my cart I'd parked it up further rather than trying to push this heavy cart around. Partially it's good to push a cart to have something to hold on to, but I had to go back into these little rows to get the succulents I wanted, and I found purslane there and different kinds of oregano and different kinds of parsley, etc. So this young woman helped me. She was so lovely, and I like to ask people, you know, what are you working on, and oh, what's that plant? It's beautiful, the one that you're looking at. And one woman had a little baby there, and she needs to be on baby food advertisement. She's just the most adorable little baby. So I love people, even though I'm a hermit. And it was, and that's why I got the rose, Silas Marner. You remember Silas Marner? By Elliot James, I think. A woman who took a man's name, James Eliot. Anyway, you probably remember the novel Silas Marner. He was considered a recluse, and people didn't look kindly on him. He was unique. He was a unique man. And the supposed man who wrote the novel and other novels in that time period, early American literature, was a woman, but a woman wasn't going to get published then. So I think her real name is Edith Wharton. Edith Wharton. So they had the David Austin Rose, Silas Marner, and I thought that's good for a hermit. It's pale pink, it's medium size, so it'll fit right under the window, but cover the bottom area. And I don't care what it looks like in the winter. I'll just let it be stems. Stems are fine, and the little dead rose buds that freeze, you know, if you don't trim it back. And I don't trim the roses back until spring. Then you can like prune them down to about a foot to 14 inches above ground. So, so Silas Marner, that's a perfect name. It has a good scent, not the strongest scent. So Golden Celebration had a stronger scent and is a larger rose, shrub rose. So I'm going to replace one of these that I got at Costco that does not smell, or not much. I mean, why have a rose if it doesn't have a scent? So I'll just switch that out. And then of course they had two more tiny little conifers, miniatures, and I am just smitten. That place, I think next year I may not be able to go there. Maybe Jesus will come for me by then, because or I'll need to have some kind of like handcuffs on me, and it just, you know, a little card that reads, don't let her buy but the petunias and a geranium and a Coleus for the shade area. I'm going to try to overwinter them again, but they didn't make it for me. But I did overwinter these succulents that I have, but they had more succulents today, so I got more to make it more colorful. And I can take back ones that aren't, or if I have repeats, but I can always put succulents in the back down by the roses and things to fill in, so it isn't just stone, and it's nice to have life. But stone, I consider stone sort of alive, actually. I think they have energy, they have minerals, they have lots of good in stone. And they're so old, they have stories to tell us, stones do. Well, we're back, and the puppies, their little treat bag must have fallen out. And so they didn't get a treat this time. It was very sad. Say goodbye, Mercy. We're going to get out. Lovey, are you there? There you are. Oh, I thought maybe somebody took you out of the car and took you home with them. Would you have liked that, Lovey? I don't think so. He's used to us. Well, God bless you all. Just remember with transitions that it gets to the point then that we have to be aware other people won't be used to it. So we need to explain our transition and what God wants of us. and invite them, and ask them to go with us, to be with us, and to understand that we won't be able to let ourselves be, I wouldn't use the word abused, disrespected, or even with its close people, how it used to be. It's going to have to change, that God wants me to respect myself and to respect God who made me as I am, and hope that all of you can respect me, because I'll explain, I won't make it personal, but that we have to remove ourselves if people can't respect. So please help me with this. Help me make sure I'm respecting myself. And in that way, hopefully they'd get the idea that they need to. But I spelled it out a little more with my grandson and the daughter in a text, and gave examples. And that even though they fear that I might be embarrassing or embarrass myself, don't worry about it. That's me. And that and I think they're hypersensitive to it. I'm not really, I don't think other people notice that much, that I'm different. Maybe if they're around more, or if obviously see me have some kind of mystical experience, they'll wonder, but otherwise, I think my kids are just hypersensitive, thinking that everybody else can tell that I'm different and will say things, or it will reflect poorly on them, which it could. It did my daughter with this one woman, but at least it showed who she was. God bless His real presence in us, and have a beautiful rest of your day or night. Some of you are sound asleep, and see you in the next video. But thinking then of others and respecting others and their needs, and if they can't handle how we need to be, then we have to part ways. And we don't need to tell them that. It can just happen if it's a repeated thing. If it's someone close, then yes, we'd want to explain it to them, what the problem is, and that we need to be respected, not controlled, not monitored, not criticized, but let us be ourselves, and see, it might end up wonderful for them. They might grow to enjoy us. Ta-ta.